Yo, have you seen that trend of upside down hats and you want to start making your own? Let me try to help you out. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today we're going to be talking all about those upside down hats that you see everywhere. Now, one of the biggest reasons I haven't made this video yet, and I see your comments and I see your DMs and everybody that's been following me for at least 7-8 years, understand that I dropped these hats long ago. The upside down city hats, obviously this is Los Angeles flipped upside down. I launched this hat in, I believe, 2017 when I was running the brand Leftovers, and the whole campaign around this design was we were flipping the city upside down. So the way I was selling this hat was on social media. I would take popular LA landmarks and I would turn them upside down, and then I would overlay this hat on top of it. So let's say it would be Dodger Stadium, like a picture of Dodger Stadium. I turn that upside down, and then I would overlay this hat, and then it'd say something like, we're turning the city upside down. And then I take like the Venice Beach sign and turn that upside down. And then I take Staples Center, turn that upside down. I take the LA skyline, turn that upside down. And it's always overlaying the hats on top of it whenever I launch new colors, because the whole campaign around this was turning the city upside down. And if you remember, I sent this to a lot of popular radio DJs, this same exact hat. Any DJ that was in Los Angeles at the time that I thought was dope, I sent them a hat with the little handwritten note that said, I think you turn the city upside down the way that you play music during traffic hour, or whatever it is. And then I got so much mileage off of these hats going to those DJs that they were wearing it to gigs and shows, and they were ending up everywhere. That was the whole marketing campaign strategy around this hat right here when I did it. And like I said, it was in 2017 or something like that. And for those that are like, yeah, right, you don't know what you're talking about, you just made this yesterday, I'll put in a little clip here of an old video that I made talking about this same exact hat, and you could see when it was dated and stamped right here. Embroidery really well. As you can see, this is the upside down Los Angeles, turn the city upside down series that we did for Leftovers. Looks good. 3D puff embroidery all the way around, nothing on the back. So now that you've seen how long ago I was selling this hat right here, let's talk about it. The font that I used was called IFC. I think you can find it on free font sites now. The font is called IFC. I believe it's IFC Hardball maybe, because I have a bunch of different ones like IFC Railroad, IFC Western. I believe this one was called IFC Hardball. I might be wrong. It's been so long since I used this font. And to spin things upside down, most people just kind of type it out and then they spin it upside down, which it reads the reverse way. What I did here is, if this is right side up, all I did was I flipped it down this way. So it was upside down, but it was still in the right order of the way you read it. And what I'll try to do is I'll put the camera on the computer right now to show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here we are in Photoshop. I just typed this out right here. The font that this is called IFC Hardball. And basically this is it, right? This is what most people see. Like, oh yeah, all you got to do to turn this upside down is spin it around. That's it. So the little cursor turns into like a little half moon shaped arrow. Click, hold that, and you could spin this thing around as much as you want, right? So you just spin it around upside down. And then from here, this is how most people do it. These are the hats that you see. You can go here, highlight this, go up to this little T with the little, it looks like a T is standing on a hill. I don't know what it's called, but the Create Warped Text tool at the very top, you click that, you click Arc, and then you're like, oh, it's upside down and I don't want it to arc that way. You bend it the other way. So you just take this little slider, move it over, leave it at 30, and boom. That's what you see on hats now, right? This is the way that I made mine. Let's start another one. We'll use the word Compton, and we'll hide this one. So the way I did this was basically the same exact way, but instead of just like spinning it around and it reads backwards, I like it like this. So I come up here to one of these little anchor spots, the little squares around here. I hold Shift, and then I just drag it down. I click that anchor and I drag it down, boom. So now it's flipped upside down just on itself, right? And then from here, if I wanted to put an arc on it, do the same exact thing, just drag this around, do something like that, boom. Then if I wanted to make this a little bit bigger, that's it. So now what you have is just the word Compton flipped over on itself. Instead of spinning it like this, and now it reads this way, we basically just flipped it upside down that way. So it was looking this way, flipped it upside down. That's all I did for my Los Angeles. Show you what that looks like when it's typed out as Los Angeles. Oh, I guess I could just use this. Like once you save this, let me hide this one. You could type in whatever you want. Now it's Los Angeles. Let's say you wanted to just do a state, and then we could do Hawaii. If you didn't want to do Hawaii, you could do Texas. Basically just save this, and you could always type it out and do whatever you wanted. So this is what my hat looked like right here. This is basically it. That's all I did. That's how I made it. For example, there's the actual design, and here's the hat. That's all it is. Same exact thing. This looks like it was stretched out a bit taller. So let me fix that. There it is. That's my upside down Los Angeles that I released damn there 8-9 years ago, something like that. There it is right there. So if you wanted to do this, here's how I make it, but I also showed you how all the other companies are doing it. The font is called IFC Hardball. If you wanted to get it, you could look it up. It might be on the free font sites, or you might have to pay for it. Not 100% sure, but that's the font that I used. And I'm noticing that's a lot of the font that other people are using when they're making these hats too. So there you go. All right, so now that you know how to make the upside down hat, I showed you both different ways. The way that I like to do it instead of the way of just spinning it upside down. And I'm not trying to do this to be like, man, I'm ahead of the trend. I seen so many of your comments and DMs and messages about, hey, look, they're doing the hat just like you did. For the people that's been following me for a long time know that I launched this hat a long time ago before it was popular. But now that it's way popular and a lot of people are doing it, it's cool. It just shows that I was onto something years ago. And was I the only one doing things upside down back then? No, there's a bunch of people doing upside down stuff back then. But I'm just saying, when I was selling this thing, when I was running leftovers, that's how I did it. These were stitched on decky hats too. So this is an old decky hat when I used to use decky. And the biggest reason I used to like decky was the minimal branding on these hats. So this is the only branding inside the hat right there. Can you see that? That's the only decky branding on this whole hat. Comes with this little barcode sticker, and that's it. That's the main reason I used to use these hats. These hats are wool and acrylic for anybody that wants to use them. They're made by Decky. I don't use these hats anymore because they don't fit my price range anymore. But this was a cool hat when I was using them. I really liked them, and they were located really close to here. Like their warehouse was right off the 91 freeway. I don't know if it's considered Compton or Rancho Dominguez, or I don't know what the city that the warehouse is in actually is, but I know it's right off the 91 freeway, like off of Central or Wilmington or something like that. But anyways, this is a Decky hat. This is a hat that I used to sell when I was running leftovers. I'm glad I still kept this hat because of how popular this trend is now of the upside down cities. I still haven't seen anybody do it the same exact way that I made it, but the idea and the intention is still the same. Cities upside down. I always thought it was a good idea. I ended up selling the actual template that I made for this. I think the dude was from Canada that I sold it to. Like the actual template, everything was like, you basically just type in the city that you wanted to do and it was already upside down, ready for them. But shout out to turning the city upside down. Shout out to the people that's been following me for all these years that remember those old videos that I used to make out of my house. All right, if you have any questions about anything that I talked about or showed in this video right here, please let me know in the comments. And also pay attention to what I do, because chances are years from now, it might be on trend. or it might not, but who knows? If you wanted to, follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.